What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Thought Game Channel. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? If you follow me over on Twitter, you know I pushed the weekly show back a day, and I'm sorry for that. It's just given the fact that I wasn't able to do any Let's Plays or anything yesterday because I wasn't feeling well. The amount of time I'd have to wake up, do the show, I wouldn't really have any time to do any Let's Play, so it would just be the show today. I think I can get out of work earlier tonight because we're a little less busy on Sundays. So I think it would just be easier to do that tomorrow and focus on Let's Plays. And I wanted to do a solo video on this article, so I thought I'd also throw this in today. This is an opinion article on Push Square by Sammy Barker. It's a soapbox article. Sony is not anti-consumer for making PlayStation 5 exclusives. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff on this lately. Some people thinking this because PlayStation admitted that when the PS5 comes out, we're making games for PS5. We're going into our new hardware. That's how it's going to be. While Xbox is kind of doing the opposite. I think Sony's right, and we'll get a little bit into this in the article. But I also kind of wanted to use this as a springboard to kind of talk about console wars and this whole Sony. A lot of Sony exclusives are being moved over to PC, and a lot of people aren't liking that. And just kind of to touch on, like I said, console wars and exclusives and everything. This is a lot of stuff that I've really kind of touched on in the past, but just kind of all in one place. So let's actually hop into the article. It's not too terribly long. Also note that this is Push Square, so you know it is very PlayStation biased, just throwing that out there. But granted, so am I. I love my PlayStation. I barely play my Xbox anymore, so I'm just throwing that out there. So the article reads, there will be games that you can only play on the PlayStation 5 when Sony's next-gen system launches this holiday, and that's anti-consumer, according to some enthusiasts. While the Japanese giant is merely following the natural order of all hardware transitions, Microsoft has thrown a spanner in the works by revealing that it will release all of its Xbox Series X titles for the next year and a bit on the Xbox One and PC. There's an obvious advantage to the team in Green's strategy. No one will be left behind. Halo Infinite, which will presumably be the next Xbox flagship foray, there we go, will be playable on crusty old Xbox One from 2013, and that's neat. But while I'm not a programmer, it's probably safe to assume that the overall package will be compromised on Series X. As a result, developer 343 Industries will be able to up the resolution and effects for the next-gen version, but the game design will need to be consistent across all consoles. And I think that's a fair point that I don't think really gets brought up a lot, but I think that's a very fair point. Will this matter? Well, the Redmond organization presumably feels not, but I think it may give Sony an advantage, even if it's only a small one. The manufacturer has talked at length about how, for example, the superfast SSD hard drive in the PS5 can fundamentally change the design of open-world games like Marvel's Spider-Man in order to take advantage of that fully. It obviously needs to ensure that it ditches PS4 entirely. You could argue this is pro-consumer as it effectively ekes all the features out of the new appliance. Whatever your thoughts, I personally don't have a problem with it. While I accept the truly great launch titles are a rarity, I'm looking at you, Sunset Overdrive. I know that was an Xbox One, but still great exclusive launch title. I always appreciate having something like Killzone Shadowfall to showcase my expensive new toys, what my expensive new toys can do. I'm expecting the long-removed Demon's Souls remake to fill that void on PS5. The real positive here is that Bluepoint's going to be working from the blueprints of an already outstanding game, and it's going to have plenty of time to, quote, pretty it up, so to speak. To be clear, I don't think there's a problem with Microsoft's approach at all. The organization has Xbox Game Pass subscriptions to sell, and the biggest audience for those is going to remain on Xbox One for at least a couple more years, but I think the two gaming juggernauts are moving in different directions, and Sony's goal is to get as many PS4 owners playing on PS5 as quickly as possible. It's going to achieve that through eye-catching exclusives, sequels to popular series, and backwards compatibility. I think all three of those are extremely important features, because as far as I know, backwards compatibility is not on the Series X. If it is, please tell me and I'll make a correction down in the description. But as far as I know, it's not going to be backwards compatible. Like they said, sequels, like God of War, Spider-Man 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, eye-catching exclusives. I mean, they still have Ratchet and Clank, which I would love to see the reboot get a good sequel that's not tied in with a movie. I'd love to see them bring Jack back. I'd love to see them bring Sly Cooper back. I'd love to see a lot of those games, return. I was about to say Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2, but I get granted, but those are going to be PS4 titles. I'm still thinking that they're going to see PS5 re-releases. Apparently, Cyberpunk won't, because they've said that they aren't planning to do a re-release. They're planning on keeping it. It's a PS4 title, or it's a PS4 Xbox One title. Well, I guess it's technically also a PS5 title. Backwards compatibility. But no, I think those features are great reason. I think PlayStation 5, in my opinion, has a leg up. I've made my thoughts clear on that for the longest time. I think PS5 is going in the right direction. I think Xbox is trying to just coast and do what it did now. So many people try and sell me, oh, the Xbox One did fine. People are so mean to the Xbox One. That sales are fine. I'm like, well, yeah, the sales are fine. Compare them to PlayStation's though. PlayStation slaughtered them this generation. I mean, what? The PS4 is now in the top 5 video game consoles ever in terms of sales. I think it's top 5. Might be top 3, but I'm pretty sure it's top 5. Yeah, it's like I said. I feel like Xbox is trying to coast, not anything else. Where the hell were we? Sorry. That's not anti-consumer. It's just an alternative approach. I'm excited. There's been a lot of chatter about which console will be more powerful, PS5 or Xbox Series X. But if Microsoft remains tethered to its existing range of devices, then Sony has the best opportunity to showcase what its new machine can do. Personally, this is what I want from the next generation experience, and while I can respect Redmond's decision, I'm feeling more favorable about PlayStation's approach here. Now, I just want to see the lineup. Now, there's a poll at the very bottom here that asks, people, I think about 1,500 or so voted, as well as I did. Guess which they asked, do they think it's anti-consumer, do they not care, or do they think, no, this is that, doing this the way PlayStation's going to do it is the way to do it? Yeah, overwhelmingly, about 90% say, no, new hardware needs full exclusives. And I agree with them. I really do. I think that is the way to go about it. It's you want to push people into buying your next generation box. Get that console sale, get that $500, which is probably what they're going to cost. I still think Xbox might cost more. At the very least, they're going to match their. Ryan McCaffrey on Twitter, he said something that he said that Xbox is in a great position to undercut them undercut Sony in price and release the Xbox and show off their more powerful console at E3 and everything. And I'm like, dude, I put that on Twitter. I respect him, but I think he's dead wrong on that situation. But no, let's be honest. At least they're both going to be 500. I think PlayStation 5 is going to be 500, and I could see the Series X being 6-7. If all the hardware, if all the guts and everything are actually there in the Series X. But again, that's for something once we know a little bit more, and this is all speculation on my part. But no, it's like I said, it's all about getting them to buy that to invest in that next hardware sale to get that revenue into the company, because at the end of the day, keep saying this to people, these are companies. They don't care if you're happy or not. They want money. Now, you can argue the best way for them to make money is to make us happy, and there's a balancing act in there to do, because frankly, if you're not happy, but people keep buying the games and the loot and spending money on loot boxes and spending money on crappy DLC and cut and paste Ubisoft games. Ubisoft, I'm still really pissed about that. Granted, I still buy them, but I'm part of the problem. That's beside the point. And so like I said, whether or not people are happy doesn't matter as long as they get the sale. That's companies. That's business. At the end of the day, we can't fight that. And in a weird way, that kind of leads me into console wars and everything. These people, I keep hearing from people like Ryan McCaffrey and others that, oh my gosh, the console wars do nothing for us as consumers, and it's just a way for them to make money. I'm like, yeah, they're making money, and it does do something for us as consumers. It causes them to fight it out and make better products. That's honestly, competition breeds better products than this utopian, nobody's gonna be mad at each other. It's like not wanting fights on the internet. It's never gonna fucking happen. Let's be entirely honest. It won't happen. It's like wishing for a world where there's no human suffering or war. Look, would it be great if that existed? Sure. Will it ever exist? No. Let's be honest. It won't. I mean, we can do our best to minimize the effects of everything, but at the end of the day, it won't. I know I'm getting really deep and sad right now, but that's just my thing to people who again, I keep bringing up Ryan McCaffrey. I have massive respect for him because, I mean, he is a talented writer, he's a talented commentator, but I think he's dead wrong on that idea, on this idea of an exclusiveless future where, oh, we don't need exclusives and we don't need people to fight each other over this stuff. No, exclusives are important. Exclusives are important to be just another thing to be used to sell a console. I mean, hell, this article even brought up an interesting point that if the Xbox Series X is so powerful like it is, it's going to have to draw back. They're going to probably have to draw back Halo Infinite so that the Xbox One doesn't release a crap product. Like I said, game design and everything has to be scaled back so that the Xbox One can catch up. You know, they can't put new guts inside your Xbox One, so they can only scale back the series, what they're developing for Series X. So that's what they have to do. They have to draw back. They can't go as balls to the wall and make use of all the tech. They have to hold it back. So let's say the Xbox Series X is some massively powered console. Well, they're just causing problems for the developers and making it so the games can't look as great as they can everywhere. It's a bad idea to just go no exclusives because it's going to start pissing people off. Because the people who are spending the money to get the higher end get the higher powered console, they're because they can't make use of that higher power, and the people who are buying the lower powered unit are getting, how to put it, they're ending up with something that wasn't made specifically to get the full use out of their system. There we go. That I'm sorry, I was trying to think how to put this. And then again, we also have to look at the control schemes of both the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller. And I know, one's got a touchpad, one has this, one, yeah, but they are still different. You design it one way. Both consoles are going to have to almost be designed the same, which then causes a big issue in the consumer of which one do I buy? They're basically the same thing. What's it matter? While the console war pushes them each to try and be innovative, to make exclusives, to make things, I think the console wars, in its entirety, is a better thing than not having it. Look, does it kind of suck that you can't play everything on one box? Sure. Look, I've got two PS4s, an Xbox One, a PS2, my Switch, a gaming PC, a shitload of cords that I'm pretty sure is a fire hazard in this room right now. And all that on my oh wait, did I mention my PS2 and my Xbox 360? I've got all that sitting on my desk, 2 TVs, a monitor, mics, and just all this shit here because of this channel. And I'm going to be buying both the PS5 and the Xbox One, the Xbox Series Boombox X, Extreme, whatever the flip you want to call it. I'm going to be buying all this stuff. Yeah, I've got a bunch of video game consoles just kind of sitting around. It's kind of frustrating that I have to have all that stuff just to play everything, but if I want to run this channel, I kind of have to. It's one of those things that you have to accept certain realities, and I think one of the big realities is it's better for us in the long run that the console wars exist. Again, if you want to disagree with me, you can disagree with me. This is opinion entirely, but that's my take on it. Yeah, I kind of touched on the Ryan McCaffrey thing, talking about the exclusiveless world. And again, it's like I said, I think the exclusiveless world thing is dumb. But now on to something that's kind of a similar point, and this kind of last point we'll really talk about in this video, and this was something that I saw Colin Moriarty tweet, and I retweeted it, I think it was last night. It's about Horizon Zero Dawn moving on to PC. And a lot of Sony people are getting mad. And I kind of understand the frustration. You know, you buy an exclusive thinking it's the only place to play this game. And, but at this point, how much money is PlayStation really making off of Horizon Zero Dawn? I mean, I think Moriarty brings up the fact that it's being sold for like $10 on PlayStation Store. They've pretty much soaked up all the revenue that they're probably going, you know what I mean? They pretty much soaked up all the good revenue that they're going to make out of that game. So why not move it over to PC, especially right now at the tail end of a console generation? Same thing with Death Stranding and a few other games. Why not move them? Send them over to PC. at the end of the generation. Maybe bring some people over for the sequel. Maybe bring some people over for some of the other exclusives on the PS5. Why not? I mean, that's the thing that Microsoft really can't do, because a lot of Microsoft exclusives can be played on both Xbox and PC. So why would I buy an Xbox? I can just get a PC and make it look amazing for about the same price. Maybe a little bit more, because I mean, I'm looking at dropping another $1,000 on another PC, but that's beside the point. It's just, I think it makes perfect sense to move those exclusives. I understand that some people are frustrated, but I think that there's a larger picture here, and I think Moriarty hit it on the head when he said something along the lines of, look, they've pretty much soaked up all the revenue that they can from that, and somebody, I think, asked him, does it really diminish the value of an exclusive? And I agree with him. I don't think it does, because it's like I said, the value of the exclusive is who owns the IP? Sony. I mean, Sony's getting the money even if it's bought on PC. You know, Sony's making the money. And I know that seems kind of antithetical to what or contradictory to what I said about the fact that exclusives can be played on Xbox or PC. The difference there is, you're not going to be pushed over to buy an Xbox. We're just talking Horizon Zero Dawn 1. The sequel will still probably be an exclusive on PlayStation 5 for the longest time. That's what I'm talking about. It's a way to maybe kind of coax some people over. I think it's a really smart business decision to move over. I know I'm kind of stealing Moriarty's thought there, but I think he's right. I think that's the best take. Although I will kind of leave you guys with a really funny thing I saw in the comments of that tweet. Somebody saying how it's the console wars, and it's, you know, basically console war stuff, and how it drives everyone. Kind of that point that I was making. It kind of drives that competition drives people to make better products. And then one guy responds to him, says a PlayStation fanboy. He's probably never played an Xbox, or who hasn't played an Xbox in 5 years. Oh man, Gears 5 had a better Metacritic score than both Death Stranding or Days Gone. And I'm sitting here going, it's weird that you're only mentioning those two games. Well, okay, well actually I guess it's not, because they both released this year. But Death Stranding is widely loved by a lot of people. He is right. The Metacritic score for Gears 5 is higher. I think it's an 84 and Death Stranding's an 82. Although, granted, Death Stranding has about 20 or so more critics in that average. A lot of critics didn't like Death Stranding. It's very polarizing, so I think that 2% is almost, I think there's a margin for error that we can look in there. Granted, also the user score for Death Stranding was fairly low, but even then, it's like I said, Death Stranding was an extremely polarizing game. In my opinion, I think Gears 5 really sucked. I think it was the worst of the franchise, and that's coming from a guy who widely loves Gears of War. I think it was the worst one of the franchise. I really do. I think it had issues narratively, had issues mostly narratively, and just the way the story was constructed. That ending was fucking terrible. Sorry, kind of getting off topic here, but also then to look at Days Gone. Sure, Days Gone didn't I didn't look at its Metacritic score, but I mean, it was a brand new IP from a company that has never made a game like that, and it was great. The characters were fantastic. The storytelling, I mean, Iron Mike, Deacon, Boozer, Sarah, I loved the characters in that game. Sure, maybe it was a little clunky here and there. I'd still give that game a higher score than Gears 5. And again, I know, personal taste and everything, but it's just, I found it funny that a guy was using Gears 5 as a Xbox is doing great things. Really? Okay. Sorry, I know that was a bit of a tangent, but it made me laugh, and I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, I know. Ooh, AJ, you're just taking the shit. You're taking the piss out of a random Twitter comment. I know. I like tragedy. I don't know. Either way, guys, I think that's about it. I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear. I don't have a problem with some Sony exclusives going over to PC. I don't have a problem with the console wars. I don't have a problem with this Sony making PS5 exclusives against the PS4. I've got no issue with that. I mean, hell, especially with the fact that it's backwards compatible. It's all PlayStation 4 exclusives or PS5 exclusives. What is it? What is it they used to say on PS I Love You? XOXO. It was any PlayStation 4 game's a Vita game on with the crossplay or whatever. Remote play, that's what it was. Yeah, it's like I said, I've said a lot of this stuff before, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of just dive into it and read this article. And I think Barker's exactly right. I think this is only going to help Sony, all that. So yeah, tell me what you guys thought. Sorry if I got a little rambly, if at times it didn't make sense. If you want me to clarify something in the comments, I'll be happy to. Other than that, I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links to that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Drop by for the weekly show tomorrow. We'll be talking about the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff. We'll be talking... I think the Order 1886 is possibly getting a sequel. Holy hell, I hope that actually happens. Some other stuff. There's some cool stuff. So drop by for that tomorrow. And until then, guys, my name's AJ Gels. This is Something Game Channel. Thanks for watching. I'm out.